I was taking a walk this morning around Auckland Park because I live smallanyana distance away from Auckland Park and UJ. And I was just looking at some of the high-rise student accommodation buildings that have been coming up there, for people that are ambitious and that love structure and development. Something like that would look very inspiring, that when I got to UJ in 2008, coming to do my honors in accounting, some of these buildings didn't exist. The Sophia Town residence opposite Campus Square didn't exist. Now you've got Richmond Place, you've got Richmond Central, you've got Kingsway Place, you've got other residential spaces. I know there's some around Westdean as well that have come up. So you'd be inspired and be like, this is quite impressive. Look at how it's developing. But because I understand business and development, building a country, building an economy, building a space, things like that actually are huge red flags for someone like myself. And this is not unique to the University of Johannesburg. If you look around the Wits area, there's a lot of properties, Braamfontein, that have come up, high-rise buildings. I know there's one next door to Total. There's places like One Picard, etc. And then you can go all the way to Pretoria by Tux. They're around Hatfield, where there used to be some racist clubs and Abo News Cafe. There's a lot of student accommodation, high-rise, that has gone up. Very pretty. It's got gyms, they've got Wi-Fi. They look very fancy. I know there's one opposite Campus Square as well, quite big. And I can only imagine the rest of the country, something similar is happening. So someone would say, but this is a good thing, Pen. They're capacitating the university so that they can take in more students. But all I'm seeing is I don't know if you'd call it a mafia, but there's a group clearly out there that is looking to milk tertiary education money as much as possible. And I fundamentally believe that they are probably colluding with certain government officials, because I can only believe that a lot of those students are probably under NSFAS, the financial aid scheme for students in South Africa. So a lot of that money is going to come from government, go to the accommodation, whatever, but someone is going to chow that money. It's not going to be chowed by the students, and it's not building anything. Furthermore, I'm frustrated by the idea of our tertiary institutions that are not skills focused. We've got a 40% graduate unemployment problem in this country. Those are graduates. Those are people with diplomas, people with higher certificates, people with degrees that do not have jobs. That tells me that the qualifications that are being peddled out there are not in line with what the economy needs. Number two, a lot of these qualifications are not capacitating kids to be able to build their own businesses and go on and become successful entrepreneurs that create jobs for other people. So that makes me very, very sad. And I'm just seeing universities in particular, but other tertiary institutions as money-making schemes. How much money can be sucked from government, and if not from government, and from some of these parents? Ordinary middle-class parents that are teachers, nurses, cops, traffic officers, just normal government administrators, having to pay 5,000 Rand, 6,000 Rand for accommodation for your kid to go and learn a hollow qualification. I'm not going to mention them today, but I've mentioned them before. Some of these degrees, literally, a lot of these kids only go to study them because it's all their M score. I don't know if it's an M score, but these points that you guys have, it's all that you could get into. And then varsities have come up with this scam called doing an extended course with like a bridging year, which is bullshit. It's just for you to stay longer there so that they can milk more money off you. The students go to tertiary, they become drunkards, they become drug addicts, they become nymphomaniacs and have sex all the time. They bunk, they're constantly partying. Some of the girls become prostitutes without realizing it because they're going around sleeping with guys for money, maybe for rent, maybe for tuition. Some of these guys end up becoming drug dealers themselves. They sell whatever drug is necessary. And I'm including drugs such as banned gym supplements, steroids, especially some of the rugby guys in some of these institutions. Then some people sell Ritalin and other these focus pills that you can only get via prescription because kids need them when they're overnighting for exams, and it becomes a fuck up. As a nation, from leadership, of which our political leadership is absolutely useless, even from us as ordinary society, we're failing our kids. One of the solutions, which I've always said, is I don't understand why there are so many high schools, but you can't have tertiary institutions right after the high school close by. If you're learning something like accounting, do you need to leave Newcastle and go and study at UCT? Accounting doesn't need fancy laboratories an infrastructure to learn. It's textbook based. Why could I not finish my matric at Newcastle High School, at Ferrum High School, at Lincoln Heights, at St. Oswald's, at Hlalanati High, at Siamgela High, and then go and do accounting at a tertiary level right after that? You can consult maybe with national lecturers online if need be, like a UNISA. But why do I need to go there for accounting? Why do I need to go there for law? And today we've got technology and the internet. So if you're like, no, but they have a good law library, you can access that stuff online. JSTOR, I don't know if there are other online platforms where you can get some of these journals, some of this case law, and you can read it. So there's something fundamentally wrong there. You should be living at home, in my opinion, in tertiary. Walking to school should be walking distance to your tertiary education, to get your tertiary education. You should be eating from your parents and hopefully contributing in some way or another. It means you're washing the car, doing the garden, cleaning the house, adding value. You should be wearing a uniform. Our tertiary institutions should install a uniform. I used to hate uniform when I was in high school. I used to watch these American things and I used to be like, why do I have uniform? This sucks. But I realized the uniformity, it takes away the distraction of what are you wearing? What shoes are you wearing? Oh, did you see her dress? Did you wear uniform, have short hair? This includes girls. Some of the top performing schools in Malokshini are the ones where the girls are not allowed earrings and they're not allowed fancy hairstyles. They have to have short hair. Because you have to understand, what are we trying to achieve? We're trying to educate these children. We're trying to upskill these children so that they can become functional citizens and members of society that contribute value and have the skills to improve the way we live. Have uniform. Make sure that kids are attending from 8 o'clock till 5 o'clock, just like they would in a working environment. Right now, you have lectures here, there, some kids bunk. It's freedom. You're almost more equipped for the working world in high school, where you wear uniform and you have to be there from 7 till 2. Then you are at varsity, where you have all this freedom and people are hung over and they're dressed in the latest clothing. You're not ready for the working world. You're not ready to run a business. And the entire psychology of that is completely fucked. So live at home. Make it cheap. Because if it's at home and everyone is moving from Newcastle High Ferrum to go and study accounting here at this institution, it's going to be much cheaper. You're going to also employ local teachers and local lecturers. And then you can build an economy there. And for me, we have economies in some really pop towns in this country where I don't understand why a child from Secunda, Sasolburg, has to come to a WITS, has to go to a UKZN, has to go to a UJ, has to go to a Poch to go and learn mining engineering. You've got mines there. Why are there no tertiary institutions there teaching you mining? Because you can do your practicals down the road. If you live in a Bloemfontein, in a Free State where there's commercial farms down the road, why are you not starting there? There's something we're doing wrong, and the planning in this country from a national perspective and then flowing down to us is fucked. I'm inspired by Soltech, which is a skills Afrikaans institution by AfriForum and Solidarity. I think we need more of those. I'm inspired, of course, by Usizwe Nxasana and Judy Dlamini, who have built African, what is it? Nation. What is their school? Is it African Nation? Future Nations School, which I know has a Pan-African syllabus involved. I'm hoping they can include skills training there. There are a lot of black-owned private schools in this country. You may not know them. They're not popular, but they exist. And they have a huge focus on education. Parents send their kids there because the marks are normally good. The kids get distinctions. They need to also have a skills aspect to it. We have destroyed our schooling to a point where when I was in primary school, high school, schools had woodwork. Schools had basic plumbing, fitting and turning. You know, there was typing, even though typing is not that big a deal now, but there was home economics. There was needlework. We were learning real skills, learning how to fix cars. We've had all of that taken away from us so that we have no skills. All you can do is cram and then regurgitate. That's why when you're old, you're a graduate, you're unemployed, and some electrical stuff needs to be fixed in the home and you don't know where to start. Your father's car's broken and you don't know what to do to fix that car. You can't even cook. You don't even, while you're sitting at home being unemployed, you don't even have a vegetable garden to be like, at least I'm growing food. We have become puppets and zombies of uselessness. All you're good at is putting a report together, making a PowerPoint presentation, going there and using your hands and being like, furthermore, as you can see from the graph, useless. In the real world, we need farmers, people that can grow food, not for the country, but for yourself and for your family. We need engineers, people that can fix and build things, build a road, build a car, fix a cell phone. We need people that can manufacture things from scratch, whether it's clothing, whether it's textiles, whether it's plastic goods, etc. We need people that can construct, builders. Can you build a house? Tabang, you've got all these masters, honors, blah. You can't even lay a brick. You can't mix cement and put a house together. So are you really educated? You're schooled, highly schooled, but are you educated? But anyways, all of these thoughts are just coming from the fact that I think there's this really fucked up thing that we have of all these high-rise, expensive accommodation buildings that are going around universities. And you might applaud them, but I think they're a money-making scheme for the people that own these buildings and are probably working in collusion with government officials. It's probably the same people that fund government officials to make sure this NSFAS money moves to these people, and then there's brown envelopes. But more importantly, the fact that we're seeing these institutions, but what is the output of these tertiary institutions? Are they teaching kids real skills? Is there a university course, 6 months, 1 year, where children are taught how to use a cell phone like I am, to create a YouTube channel? How can you create a good YouTube channel? Fix your lighting, get good camera quality. This is how you speak, this is how you present, and then let's teach you some editing software. And once you do that, go onto YouTube, get onto the monetization program, and from there you can start earning money. And after 6 months, after a year, you can be like, after I did this course, I went on YouTube, I went on TikTok, I maybe started a blog on WordPress, and I am now making money for myself. Can there be a short course on how to write books? I've got 13 books that I've written. Write a book. This is how to write a book. This is how to get it printed, published. This is how to market it. You go out into the world and you're like, please buy my book. Is there a course on how to make music and put it on streaming platforms so that you can make money? I don't understand what we're doing, and it breaks my heart. And the challenge, because politicians are not going to do this, number one, if you empower the citizens, you disempower politicians. Number two, if you empower citizens, you disempower the rich people that fund and direct politicians. I want to capacitate South Africans to become a strong society and nation so that we can compete with the China, compete with the Singapore, compete with a Europe, compete with an America. We are being bullied in this country by poorer foreign African people who didn't even get a good schooling, but they have skills. Some of them are fixing tires, some of them are doing hair, some are cooking. You can't even do that. You've never even cut someone's hair, which is a 30 Rand job at a lower end, and it's a 100 Rand job at Legends Barbershop to cut your hair. You've just made it clipper. You've just made 30 bucks. It's embarrassing for me, and the bigger embarrassment is parents need to catch a fucking wake up and stop outsourcing parenting to your pastor, to your chief, to your president, politician. You need to become more intentional with your parenting. What are my children learning? And can they use this in real life? Can my children grow food? Can my children cook this food? Can my children fix a car? Can my children drive a car? Can my children build a basic structure? Can my children make money? Do they know how to sell? Do they know how to go to a macro, a cash and carry, a wholesaler, get some stuff in bulk, break it down to smaller units, maybe go online or maybe create a little shop and then start selling and come back home with 20 Rand, 50 Rand. 40% graduate unemployment and 74% youth unemployment. And yet you're seeing so many people in the streets selling. And it's not South African children. It's everyone else but South African children. It's embarrassing. We need to fucking fix it. Pin you all the black pen. Have a great day.